Hello you guys, it's me Kelly, and I'm going to show you the only sketchbook that I've ever completed. I made my own sketchbook and I used this paper, Canson Foundation Series. It's 90-pound paper and 185 grams. It is not cotton, it is a pulp paper. It's very tough, but it was perfect for this application. I would have taken one of these sheets like this, and they fold this way. I think what I did was I used a larger sheet. You want to make sure that you fold the paper along the grain. Like if you fold it this way, it gives too much resistance. If you want to fold it the direction of the grain. And like I said, I used a larger pad, but it's basically this paper. And then I just sewed it into a pamphlet. So like if you open it up all the way in the middle, it's a pamphlet stitch. And then I glued some paper to the outside. My Sketchbook of Windows and Doors, January 2020 to February 2020, an exploration of line, color, and imagination. So basically, I went through and I just splashed color, watercolor. I used the Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolors. It's a liquid watercolor that is a fine art watercolor. So it's they use pigments, it's not a dye, it's high quality liquid watercolor. And that's what I splashed all over, or I scribbled it all over. And then I went through and I took a knife like this, just a knife, and I cut an X where I wanted to make a hole. And then I tore the rest of it out with my hands so that the shapes would be very organic, and so you can see. And the idea is that what happens on the previous and the next page become part of the composition. Most of it doesn't make a lot of sense. Most of it's very abstract and surreal looking, and I love that about it. So where there was a hole, you could do something, or I did something here to make the next page part of the current page. And I used my technical pens and Posca pens, these kind of Posca pens. And you could use a you could use a fineliner, and that's what I used to make the rest of it. And then some of the pieces that you tear out, like this piece here, I might have torn out, or here, then I would glue them and integrate them into the page, a little bit like collage. And a lot of the time, it's just kind of nonsense. I just made marks where there were differences in the, where the paint transitioned, and just played around with different lines and what kind of textures I could make with those lines. And here you can even see, it doesn't just go back to one page, it goes back to two. And I thought that was really fun. I'm not sure I would consider this fine art, but I would certainly consider it a rich exploration and playfulness that I think is really, really important when you're learning art. I don't think it should all be super serious and sometimes your imagination, this is where you can spark other ideas of things that you might want to do. Like here's a lady, I don't know, she's got a butterfly on her cheek and she's got like butterfly antenna or something. And then here she's got some kind of weird hairdo and a rose collar. And some of it's just goofy. It looks like some kind of demon with fire coming out of his head. I don't know what that's all about. I just know it was fun to do. And here, just because of the way the color went, I decided to make an angel. And she's kind of on both sides of the page, or on both pages, I should say. And it just feels like there are a lot of very playful textures going on, playful lines, some kind of a little crab here. And I love how all the different pages show through where I tore things out. Like here's like a little door. And this was a splotch where the watercolor came through the holes where the pages were sewn together. And I made kind of, it just seemed like it needed to be some sort of pendant light. And then, you know those old bead curtains from the 60s and 70s? I'm dying to make some. And I just liked the way the watercolor, normally, you know, when we watercolor, we try to avoid the cauliflowers and stuff, but in this case, I just really embraced it and played with it. And on this one, I put a blot of this bright orange yellow, and then I put the pages together while it was still wet, and I ended up with this. And this is one of the places where I took some of the paper that I pushed out. And that's the end of it. It's just a very tiny little sketchbook, and it actually did take quite a little while to do, probably a couple weeks. But I had so much fun with it, and it's pretty easy to do. It's just, it's pure fun. That's all it is. It's pure fun and pure play. Anyway, thank you for looking at my one and only finished sketchbook. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye.